Kevin James, actor, comedian. He's got a comedy special, Irregardless, premieres today on Amazon. His Owls Don't Walk tour begins February 3rd. Tickets available at kevinjames.com. So you're joining us from Kelly Clarkson's studio, and then you're going to
Yeah.
go on her show?
Yes. I'm whatever backstage now. I'm in one of the dressing rooms here.
You ever been in a bad green room?
I've been in a very few good ones. Yeah. Most of the ones, a lot of the ones on the these beautiful theaters you play. When you're doing stand up, they're over 100 years old, and I think the green rooms are 150 years old. They're tiny little. They're tough. They're pretty tough, but this one's actually pretty nice. It's not too bad.
Now, do you have things in your rider when you do your stand-up special? You go city to city. Any demands there that might surprise us?
Yeah, it's not crazy like you'd think. It's just I just think coffee or something like that. Literally nothing. I'm pretty easy. We bring stuff. My diet changes every 3 minutes, so you know I'm into agave, and now I'm not. Now honey, you can't have honey, and now so it's like we just bring our own whatever it is I'm trying to do, whatever wave I'm trying to catch to get in shape next.
I was wondering when you did cameos on Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
Mhm.
Now, did that lead to King of Queens?
No, no, it helped.
Not connected.
Not connected in that way. No, I had a development deal at NBC, and we were developing the show. But what really helped me solidify it, I was at NBC then when we were starting the process. They didn't they passed on the show, The King of Queens, but because Ray invited me to write an episode with him, we wrote one on golf. Uh, that was the one that I was able to write and get in on, and CBS saw it and said that they were okay giving me my own show. So it helped. He was such a big help in all that.
When you do stand up and you go out and test this material, I'm assuming you go out to smaller clubs and test, but if it doesn't go well, is the joke removed or rewritten?
It depends. I mean, it depends on, I will, sometimes I'll force things and I'll be like, nope, this is funny. That audience was not great, and I'm going to try it again. And sometimes they prove me wrong, where I'm like, oof, I've tried so many times. It's just a pain in the ass to get this thing going, and it's just not working. So, I'm pretty good at knowing, I think this is going to work for me. But I've written bits like way too long, and done the whole thing, and it ends up, I lose the audience with it. So it's like it ends up just being a really short bit, but it's still in there. It's a funny punch, and then you're out.
Tougher to start a comedy show or end a comedy show?
That's a good question. Um, I think start. I think start because when you come on stage, they give you a couple minutes. They're just excited to see you, which is nice. So they're really, really happy with you. But if you don't hit them with the first few jokes, or you miss, or something's a little off and your timing's a little off, you can lose them. It's more dangerous there. By the end of the show, you've kind of built up a relationship with them, and they kind of know, they hopefully like you at that point. So it's a little easier, I think, to end. Although I've missed endings, like I've gone to my big closer and it didn't go. So I've got to go on and try to find another one. It's like you try to get out on that last big laugh, and if it doesn't go, you got to find another.
Also, you like go into extra innings with this.
Yes, it's extra innings. It's not fun, and I'll torture them because I'll just stay as long as I can, as long as necessary.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not leaving until you guys start laughing. So
Yeah, yeah.
when you were younger, did you ever follow somebody who crushed? Like, do you remember that feeling and who it was?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember seeing Sandler. I first met him at the comic strip in New York, and I just went up to him, and he was really nice to me, and I watched him just crush. And Ray was one of the first ones that I saw crush too. It was I was hosting you remember the Young Comedian special, the HBO Young Comedian special? They were doing auditions for that, and I got to host it. So I was on all night long emceeing, and I watched these guys come up, and I was trying to be seen myself to see if I can get on. And all these comedians would come on, and they would just hammer, hammer, hammer. And then Ray came on, and I'm like, how is he gonna follow this last guy? Whoever it was just destroyed. And Ray's just very low key. So um, but he did. He changed. He taught me a lesson that like he just settled into the audience. Like he just did he stayed at his pace where I would have tried to amp it up and try to get him going, and just be louder. He stayed at his pace, and the first joke didn't go as well, but then he got him and he crushed, and he ended up getting that special. I didn't.
Norm Macdonald had a unique delivery.
Crazy great. Yeah.
How would you describe that style? I mean, it's not traditional.
No, no. It was so unique, and that was just so he was so committed to it, and there was nowhere where else to go. That's the thing. It wasn't like he went into a character and delivered a joke that way. That was him, and I loved it so much that he's again so different than anything you've seen or will see probably. It was that just that style.
They didn't care that if you cared. It was like,
Right.
hey, I care, and if you don't, that's okay. Like, move on with this. We're talking to Kevin James. He has his comedy special, premieres today on Amazon. It's called Irregardless. And his Owls Don't Walk tour begins February 3rd. Tickets available at kevinjames.com. Family-friendly stand-up on Amazon.
Yes.
How important was it to do it that way?
It was important for me 30 years ago. That's what happened. It's like I used to curse like a crazy man with all my buddies, and but I realized that it was more out of laziness. Like I didn't want to change my set if I ever got the Tonight Show or if I got a TV spot. I just started saying I got to write clean. I don't want to have to change my material. So I don't do any like political stuff or current events. Like I didn't want to write stuff that I'm going to lose it after it's done. So it's like to build a universal act for me was like it was important, and it just kind of settled in that way, And I just, I try to write that way. I don't think about it like, oh, I got to write clean now, but it just happens that way, and it can be challenging sometimes, but it works out.
Recap your year as a New York Jet fan.
Oh my gosh. It's just getting more and more depressing because I'm saying the same thing every year.
And I
You
didn't
start
lead with this, Kevin. I waited till the very end.
Oh, I know. By the way, I was there opening night, for,
Rogers.
yes, and, I didn't make it into the stadium before I was in the parking lot walking in, and it was over. You just heard this massive, the energy just woof, left the stadium, and I was like, you knew something was wrong, and you're like, "Whoa, what was that?" And of course, we find out, I think it was 4 plays in or something,
Yeah.
and it just,
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like felt across the whole NFL. I mean, everybody, it was an exciting thing to go for, to root for and to see how it's going to turn out, whether you're a Jet fan or not. And when that was taken away, it just, I don't know.
Would you
So,
have given up one of your healthy Achilles to keep Rogers in their quarterback?
oh yeah, like it was like a kidney thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes. What am I doing?
You're not
50
using your Achilles.
No, I haven't used it in years, in years.
Okay.
He can have both, by the way.
We have an undercover skit idea. Paulie?
Okay, so King of Queens, we all know the role you played on King of Queens. What if you went as a mean-spirited UPS driver undercover, where it's you, but you're not the nice guy from CBS. You're not the nice UPS driver. And see if people figure it out and their reaction as they confuse you as the celebrity to just a UPS driver. Okay. Hilarity would ensue.
That's the elevator pitch there from Paulie, my producer.
Yeah.
By the way, I couldn't be more confused myself right now.
That's part of it. You play an undercover UPS driver, basically.
I'm an undercover. Okay.
But people may recognize you as your role from King of Queens.
Right. But I'm not that guy.
No. More mean-spirited. Because you're kind of look tough right now with the bald and the
Right.
goatee.
With the a little bit more edgy, right?
Yes.
I got to smile more.
Yeah. Is that what your wife says?
Yes, all the time.
Smile.
She's like, "What are you doing?" Yeah, it is a little bit. I don't realize that without the hair, you'd look a little like you're angry.
There's a wrestler feel to you.
Yeah, a big show, kind of like yes.
And
I
and
got to
you've
work on
played a wrestler before.
Well, yeah, a fight MMA fighter.
Oh,
I didn't play,
okay.
but yes,
Wrestle. You
yeah.
wrestled in high school.
I wrestled 1 year in high school. I wrestled against Mick Foley. Mick Foley was on. He went to my high school and my college, by the way. But I was a running back in high school, and our team needed a heavyweight. Uh, so they brought me in. I'd never wrestled before. I was a strong kid. Uh, so I had like a double leg takedown. That's all I had. So if I could take you down and squeeze you, I would win a lot of matches. But if you knew anything about wrestling, you could you could beat me easily. And I remember one match, it came down to that because I think Mick was hurt, or I don't know what it was. They needed me, and it was a big match that was going back and forth. And when you're a heavyweight, you wrestle last. So it was an away game or away match, and I was going against this big kid. And I remember I was so panicked because everybody like turned to me, and it was one of those like in a sports movie where it's just everybody looked at me, and it was like you're in, and it was like Vision Quest. I take the head, you put the headset on, you get in there. I put my foot on the line, and they're like, "Go!" And I double legged him, and I went back on him, and then he rolled me immediately, and he was so big I couldn't breathe. I was suffocating under him, and I was fighting like crazy, and he ended up pinning me, and we lost, and it was the worst. I just remember the bus ride home. Two things. I remember everybody being quiet and probably hating me, and I remember number two, I smelt just like that guy. So I had the smell and a quiet ride home.
You didn't mind being called a heavyweight. I always wondered about that. Hey, you're the heavyweight.
No, I was in good shape. Like I liked it because most heavyweights were back then. I wasn't ripped, but I was in good shape. I wasn't. I was like 200 pounds maybe, or
Oh, okay.
195
Yeah.
or whatever. But I was like, you'd go against these guys that were just, you know, grass fed, big guys.
But luckily, you've gotten over that embarrassing moment that you had.
Just now, yeah.
Have fun with Kelly Clarkson. And
Thank you.
good luck with the special. Irregardless premieres today on Amazon. Family friendly. And Owls Don't Walk tour begins February 3rd. Tickets available. KevinJames.com. Thank you,
EP,
Kevin.
thank you.
Hi, buddy.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Kevin James. I think we've been in like 5 movies together.
Like Redford and Newman, you two.
Well, not exactly that.
Oh.
We were in a now pronounced shoot, Chuck and Larry. I was in Grown Ups 1 and 2. I was in Hubie Halloween. And I think there's one other one that we were in together. And we were in a few scenes together. But is there another one that you see, Paulie, on his IMDb that I might have been in since I've been in, I think, 20 of Sandler movies?
I mean, technically, we've all been in a scene with Kevin.
Pixel.
Pixels.
Yes.
He was
Yeah.
up at the podium.
Yes. We were in that movie as well, up in Toronto.